Okay, this will be an interesting one. The sun is out, looks so bright and so beautiful. But the rain is also beautiful and it's necessary. We do need to act somehow on climate change. Somehow, folks. I'm really missing a loved one. I'm missing a partner called Luigi. His name is Luigi and I really care for him. I do get heaps lonely being away from him. Anyway, let's see what we're going to demo with. We got here a top and we're interested in the lace, that beautiful lace. But basically I'm really missing Luigi and it's really painful living away from someone you love and trying to locate them, and I'm trying to get my photocopier demos on television. It's not as easy as it looks trying to get televised. There's so many things in this world that are taking up airtime, like the coronavirus, the COVID-19 as it's technically called. I look forward to the day when we have a vaccine. I do like hearing about vaccines though. That's what I like to hear. That looks good, except we got that there. So yeah, I look forward to seeing when we're going to get a vaccine. And one news channel, I think it was, if I remember correctly, Channel 9 said it was going to be, that's what is in the way, is going to be next year. So sometime early next year is when they said that the vaccine is going to be available in Australia. And Australia is quite an amazing country. We're a talented nation. We don't get as recognised as we should, but we are. We're a smart nation in many ways. Now we didn't want that. But basically, yeah, we have to show our smarts a little bit more. So yeah, we are a very intelligent sort of a nation as a whole. I'm going to move this across. One day I want to redesign the photocopier and to start a new corporation that does build these things, and we're going to make it the best the photocopier has ever been. And one of the key kickers is that we're going to have this machine built on Australian soil. We're not going to manufacture it in China or Vietnam or anywhere else. We're going to be building it and manufacturing it here on Australian soil, because we are really a smart nation, but we've got to get recognised more. There's a lot of nerd bashing, which is not good, but basically we've got to try and rise above that. Now, I'm having really a lot of trouble trying to get this in, but it looks like we've got it. We've still got a little bit there, but we're not going to worry. It's only a little bit. I'm wondering where the centre of this job is going to be. We still got it near the edge, but I think it's good enough. I don't know. But basically, we've got to show our smarts as a nation. you know, as people with fully functional brains, you know, really smart. I know we don't get much money. Corporations no longer are interested in sponsoring smart people. Like in the old days, in the 90s, being smart was in many ways rewarded. And we did have an R&D facility in Sydney called, I think it's called CSIRO, and CSIRO was closed down a couple of years ago now. So the smart people are no longer getting any kind of useful recognition. Companies like Canon are now really greedy, and they don't care about anything anymore except money. And it's the love of money that shuts down the contributions that the smart people can make. And it does, it shuts them down. And they're no longer recognised, and they no longer can make a skerrick of difference. If we had more corporations investing, like in the 90s, there was, well, it'd be a better world. And these companies do pull a lot of fucking nosh, or money. They pull lots of money, and yet they don't. Now this looks shit house. This looks fucked. I wish I didn't do that. So yeah, the companies that make these equipments just got that wrong. The companies that make these equipments just don't care anymore. They used to, as I said, in the 1990s, we really had something happening back then. I'm going to use the contrast, so we're going to lose that. I'm going to use that. So yeah, we have to fucking, I don't know, get ourselves out there. And how do we do it without the backing of corporations like Canon? I mean, Canon even sponsored artists for back then, and now they don't care. Now that looks really quite nice, but it doesn't go with that. I'm just going to make a deliberation which one we're going to use. We're going to use this one. This one looks a bit more interesting. It's a bit more fuzzy, but it looks interesting. But basically, Canon is no longer the friend of the nerd or the geek or the toner head. Canon used to be friendly, used to be a really nice kind of thing. I'm going to use that as the centre. So, you know, we don't have backing from companies like Canon anymore. It's really quite sad that it's come to this, that we have no assistance from any of the corporations. But, you know, what can we do, folks? We've got to try our best as individuals and groups. We've got to try and link up on the internet, get the ideas flowing. Otherwise, you're never going to get anywhere. And we've got to keep ourselves sane at the same time, so we don't let this shit that big business does get to us. So we don't want big business to drive us insane, drive us nuts, because they're not helping us and we're not getting our ideas, which are good ideas, out there. But there will be a time when the tables will turn. And I mark my words, the tables will eventually turn. Now that looks interesting. Wondering if we can make this into a switcheroo. But basically, the big companies just don't care anymore about us. They don't care about anything but their pay packet, and they seem to think that in order to make more money they got to cut corners. And yes, the end of CSIRO. Scisra was around, I think, in the early 90s since. It was a good thing, and now it's shit. It's gone. Anyway, I think that looks a lot better. I think now we can call this demo quits.